Hi guys, welcome back to Geeks Wargaming, and I have an army showcase for you today. This is my army that I'm taking to an upcoming event at Warhammer World. It's a sort of four-man team event, so I'm going with Richard, Ed and Matt. We're all taking Imperial factions. The rules of the event are you can't have more than three of the same. So the rule of three, but it applies over all of your armies. So you've got to be a little bit cleverer with your army builds. Obviously, it doesn't apply to things like your troops and dedicated transports. So yeah, I've gone with sort of a bit of an Imperial Soup List. I guess you'd say it's a Knights list because that's where a majority of the points are. So I think that's probably what it will be classed as, a Knights list. But it's basically a Blood Angels battalion and then a Knight Lance. And I have 85 points in reserve, so I can use a command point to bring in one of the assassins that I want to bring in. So it's not all four of those assassins. It's just, it's there just as a visual reference, really. So I think most of the time I'm probably going to go with the Vindicare or the Eversaw, unless I'm playing against something that's got an awful lot of psychic, and then I'll go with the Calyxus Assassin. I'm not really sure about the Callidius, so the female one. I think the other three are just a lot better, a lot more versatile. They actually have a sort of a fixed role. So I've had a few practice games with this so far. It's mixed results. I'm still learning it. I'm hoping to get a few more practice games in before the tournament. I think I'm playing it slightly too aggressively. So I'm basically trying to throw one of the Smash Captains in with a Lancer. But generally on the my opponent's turn, they generally deal with the Lancer and the Smash Captain that I've just thrown in. So I'm kind of thinking of different ways of playing this list. Obviously, I'm not going to reveal those to you now, just in case you're somebody that's going to that tournament trying to get some sneaky tactics on me. But yeah, it's a very aggressive list. So obviously the Primaris and the tactical squads just sort of sit on objectives to score those. I think this tournament is actually running allowing the beta bolter drill, so that will certainly make these guys a lot better. I did originally have 3 squads of Primaris in there, but then the Assassins Codex dropped in White Dwarf, so I wanted to fit one of those in, so I had to do some juggling round. So I dropped some carapace weapons off the Knights and reduced from a Primaris squad to a normal Marine squad, and that freed up all the points I need. So this is at exactly 1750 on the nose. Haven't quite decided on who is going to be my warlord. I have been running one of the Smash Captains as a warlord, but they generally get killed very, very early, so I'm giving away sort of first strike and warlord at the same time. So I'm not sure if I'm going to run those. I think it might actually be the Crusader that ends up being the warlord. I'm running House Hawkshroud. Obviously, the two Lancers are not Lancers, the two Errants. Errants? Is it an Errant? I can't remember which one it is. Gallant. The two Gallants are painted as Hawkshroud, and then the Crusader in the middle. I've kind of painted it a little bit like Freeblade, so I can call it whatever house I want. But for the purpose of this, I wanted the 3 Knights in one Knight Lance to get me the 6 command points, knowing how quickly I can burn through them in the first sort of couple of turns. So these all count as Hawkshroud. Hawkshroud does actually work very, very well in a soupy list, because a lot of their unique stratagems actually work in conjunction with Imperium keyword units. So there's one that if one of my Imperium units gets charged and there's a knight within 12 inches of the unit that's being charged, then I can overwatch and charge into that combat as well. So it's like some kind of epic heroic intervention. So that's quite good. That can catch people off guard quite a lot. Obviously, Hawkshroud count all their wounds as being doubled for the purpose of the degrading profile. So you have to do an awful lot of damage to them. I think you get them down to, I think it's 6 wounds before they even start slowing down. The downside is they've got no protection against mortal wounds unless you take a Hawkshroud relic, which I am considering. Gives you a 4-up against mortal wounds in the psychic phase. It's quite situational. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to use the Crusader as the Warlord, have Iron Bulwark on the Crusader, and then spend an extra command point to give one of the Gallants a Warlord trait and another command point to give him a relic. I'm thinking the relic will be the Sanctuary, which gives them the ion shields in melee as well as against range. And the Warlord trait, I could probably go with something like Landstrider to make that first turn charge more reliable. But yeah, they're just some sort of ideas that I'm floating around at the moment. I generally give one of the Smash Captains the Blood Angels buff. The Death Company buff, which gives him an extra attack, a 6-up Feel No Pain, and it gives him the Death Company keyword, so I can do that full-on Fury stratagem if necessary. So yeah, it's basically running turn 1. Try and get as many things in combat as possible, tie it up, and then turn 2 you've definitely got a second Lancer and maybe even something like an Eversaw in your lines as well. The Marines are killing the screening. The Smash Captains are hitting the big stuff, as are the Knights, and then the Crusader is sort of standing more towards the back or midfield, just spraying a lot of fire down. I think one of the weaknesses with this is, yes, it's more than capable of taking out tanks and things like that, but more in melee. I've basically got a rapid fire battle cannon that can deal with anything that's toughness 8 from range. So I have actually been struggling with opponents that have an awful lot of screening around, things like Lehman Russes and stuff like that. So it's just sort of learning ways of actually being able to get into the juicy tanks. So hopefully in a few more practice games I'm gonna do that. There will be some battle reports going up featuring this list. Me and Richard are going to film a couple of our practice games. Richard is taking the Ultramarines Gurlyman Castle with Hellblasters and that type of thing. Ed is taking his Red Scorpions, and Matt is taking a Space Marine list. I'm not sure what chapter he's settled on at the moment, because he's painted them sort of a homebrew chapter. They're absolutely beautiful, so we'll try and get some pictures on Instagram and Facebook, and probably film a video with him as well at some point so you can see that army. I'm not actually going to pick up any of these units and show them close to the camera, because I have actually done individual showcase videos for all of these. So there will be some links in this video. You'll probably see at the top of the screen now that will link you back to some of the videos on these. So yeah, that's it. I'm not sure how well I'm going to do. As you all know, I'm not an accomplished tournament player by any means. This is probably the most sort of tournamenty army I think I've ever used, I guess. So yeah, I expect I might get a couple of wins out of this with this tournament as well. I think it's got sort of slightly strange, well, not strange, a unique way of pairing as well. So it's your team goes against another team, and then you almost do like a picking which army out of the opponent's team you want to face. So it'd be like, okay, my army, I'll face this army that's equally as elite but hasn't quite got, the type of defense against knights. So you can kind of select, and I think you take it in turns or something. I've got to read the rules back properly, but yeah, it's something like that. So you can almost sort of tailor your opponent in some respects and try and make it so you're not always facing the same hard counter to your list as you can sort of fall into in some of these tournaments. So I'm looking forward to it though. Should be really fun. It's my first actual Warhammer World tournament I'm going to as well. All the tournaments that I've done before are ITC based, whereas this one is going to be using obviously an adapted rules pack, but focusing mainly around chapter approved 2018. So yeah, there it is. So let me know in the comments below what you think of the army, if you think it will do well. Any predictions on the amount of wins? I think it's 5 games over the weekend. My aim is to win 2. I'd love it if I could win 3. If I won any more than that, I've been rolling extremely, extremely hot, and my opponents have been extremely lucky. I don't expect to get any more than 3 wins, but 3 wins would be very, very good, and very, very happy with that. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you haven't already subscribed, it really helps us out if you could subscribe and tick that notification button so you don't miss any of our future content. And I will see you in the next one.